Hey everybody, we're on another trip and we have come up into the Upper Peninsula again, and we are eventually going to be heading to one of my favorite places in the world. But before we go there, we have decided to do something new, and Harry will tell you about that in a minute. If you are new to our channel, we're glad that you found us, and we're really excited to share our trip with you and our journeys. My name is Trisha.
And my name is Harry.
And we're so happy to have you here with us. We're not full-time RVers, but we do try to get out during the summer months and go camping as much as we can. We're not always quick about getting our content out. We do still have our 9-to-5s and our sticks and bricks that we take care of, but do be sure to check back to see if we have any new videos that we've put out. And better yet, just go ahead and subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell so that you get notified as soon as we do release another video.
So one of the things that we have decided to do in our travels is to try to visit someplace new every year, and as well as mix in some of our favorites that we've been to before and like to visit again. So this year we're back in the UP, and we love the UP. Today we are going to be in Sault Ste Marie, and that is on the US side, although there is one on the Canadian side as well. And we're planning on going on one of the Soo Locks tours, and also to eat at a little drive-in diner that we have found here that looks very promising, and also possibly to the Soo Locks Museum.
Yeah, the diner that Harry found online is called Clyde's Diner, and it raves, I guess, to have some really good burgers, so we're looking forward to that. Gonna grab some lunch and then we'll head on over to the docks and take the boat tour.
This freighter that you see moored up in the slip off to our left coming up is the museum ship Valley Camp. It was built in 1917. The Valley Camp is 550 feet long, 58 feet wide. The city of Sault Ste Marie acquired the ship for a museum during the city's 300th birthday celebration back in 1968. It's one of the largest maritime museums on the Great Lakes, with over 100 displays in a cargo hold, including 2 of the lifeboats from the Edmund Fitzgerald. So the American locks, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week from March 25th until January 15th. At the close of the navigation season, the locks are drained, inspected for damage, repaired, and left dry until spring. When the new navigation season begins, there can be up to 5 feet of ice on the St. Mary's River and large portions of Lake Superior. In many places on Lake Superior, the ice can get over 20 feet thick. The United States Coast Guard sends the icebreaker Mackinac and the smaller ice-breaking tugs like the Kenai Bay that we just saw to break a path through the ice all the way across Lake Superior so that the ships can cross the lake. The freighters are then convoyed through the ice field by the icebreakers. Other ice-breaking vessels that are used include the U.S. Coast Guard ice-breaking tug Biscayne Bay, the ice-breaking cutter Spar, the Canadian icebreaker Samuel Risley, and the medium Arctic icebreaker Pierre Radisson. And lowered down over the gate, and that is called a safety boom. That safety boom is there so that if the ship were to lose control, if you look underneath there, there's a large steel cable that would slowly pay out and hold the ship back before it would hit the lock gates, working similar to an arresting cable on an aircraft carrier. Now the water on the other side of the gates ahead of us is only about 3 feet from the top of those gates, which is 21 feet higher than the water in which we're currently at. To raise and lower the water in the locks, there's large tunnels in each lock that are used. The tunnels extend beyond the gates both ahead of us as well as behind us, and there's valves at the ends of these tunnels. So to raise us from the Lake Huron level to the Lake Superior level, the valves beyond the gates ahead of us will be opened up. That's in the higher river, and the higher water will naturally flow through the tunnels, under the lock walls, and up through large openings in the floor of the lock. And then phase 3 of the construction of the new lock chamber, and it will include rehabilitating the downstream approach walls. And then 2 years ago, there was a $1.1 billion contract that was awarded to Kokosing Alberici Trailer, a joint venture headquartered in Westerfield, Ohio. The major work to be accomplished will be located at the Soo Locks hydroelectric plant's tail race. And this is a 2-year project with a $400 million budget being spent. The area to the south of the hydro plant needs a complete update for the increase in accessibility and relocation of power lines. So phase 3 is said to take 7 years to complete, and the third phase will be completed by 2029. Immediately to our right is where the state of Michigan built the very first lock back in 1855. It was named the Harvey Lock after Charles T. Harvey, who was the superintendent of the construction of the locks. The first ship to go through the state lock was the passenger ship Illinois on an upbound lockage. The sailing vessel Columbia carried the first cargo of 132 tons of iron ore downbound through the lock. In the year 1881, the Wetzel Lock was opened. The Wetzel Lock was located where we are right here, at the number 1 lock. At the outbreak of World War II, in 1942, the Wetzel Lock was removed in a record time of only 14 months under blackout conditions, and the MacArthur Lock was built and opened in 1943. So in 14 months they built this lock back in 1943, whereas now it's taking 10 years to build this new one. So it gives you an idea of what we can do when we need to. The lock was built to be fast due to the brisk demand for raw materials. 85% of the iron ore used to build the ships, tanks, and guns came through the Soo Locks during the war. The lock gates are just starting to open, and then shortly that safety boom will be lifted up out of the way. Once the gates are completely open, the safety boom completely out of the way, the captain will warn you that he'll be giving out a quick whistle to indicate to the linemen to release the lines, and we will continue with our Upper Harbor tour. Building is used to dry and crush the limestone before it's used in the steel making process. Drying the stone prevents it from exploding in the blast furnace. So it's going to take approximately 2.5 tons of raw material to make 1 ton of finished steel. The manufacturing of steel requires various steps. First, coal is baked at extremely high temperatures in huge ovens for nearly a day to drive out all the gases and tar. The coal tar is collected for other uses. The excess coal gas is burned off. If you look up and to your right, you can see the large flame erupting from the tube there, and that is burning off the excess coal gas. So that is burning pretty much 24 hours, 7 days, 365 days a year. And you just heard that little squeal, and that was the top of the blast furnace being opened up and raw materials being entered into the blast furnace. So that was, if you were able to hear that. So any excess gas is burned off since it cannot be safely stored. Now the intense heat inside the blast furnace converts the iron ore to molten iron. Limestone is what's used to take the impurities out of the iron and coat to make slag. This slag is skimmed off of the blast furnace. The heavier molten iron sinks to the bottom of the furnace and is run into huge ladles. The ladles of molten iron are then transported to the steel making furnaces. At the steel making furnaces, the molten iron is reheated and various alloys are added. The final step in forming the steel into the various shapes on rolling mills. So those large structures over top of the taconite iron ore pellets are called iron or ore bridges. There's large buckets that you might be able to see hanging from there, and they're used to load the iron ore onto some little rail cars which travel on a track that's basically perpendicular to those cranes. Those little rail cars run along that track, and then they will load the raw material into hopper cars which run up alongside the blast furnace. There's only one operating blast furnace here right now. There used to be 4 back in the day, but they're converting them to electric arc blast furnaces. 1,000 pounds each. Due to highway regulations, a semi-tractor trailer could take 1 or 2 of these coils in a single load. The most economical way to transport these coils is by barge. white water thrusting, that is its bow thruster kicking. So that's a transverse hole in the side of the vessel propeller, and it's pushing the bow towards the lock wall there. And it'll also push us away a bit. So our captain is going to attempt to get the Jamesrbarker to salute us, so he's going to give a little salute on the whistle. So in about 30 seconds, if you want to plug your ears, he's going to be doing a nice salute. wave to thank the captain. It's not often that they do that. That's awesome. And that perfect fifth between these pistols.
Thank you for joining us today. Please remember to subscribe to our channel. It's free to do, and it really helps our channel to grow. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave us some comments below. Until we see you next time, remember to be genuine with your love, be present with those in your life, and live each day with grace. See you next time.